Good afternoon and welcome to iPulse Live. Today is March 27, 2025. I'm Erna DeLise.
And I'm Carla Rivera Medina. Thank you for joining us.
The Trump administration is ending a Biden administration parole program. More than 500,000 people will be impacted, many of them here in South Florida. Reporter Guillermo De Domenico spoke with immigration attorney Richard Huber about the impact.
This week marked the first repatriation flight from the U.S. to Venezuela. In February, a cruise ship came upon this small boat between Mexico and Cuba filled with refugees. In Cuba, those seeking to flee the communist regime in search of freedom could for decades expect open arms in the U.S. No more.
I mean, it's very challenging because for the people from Cuba, if you've left the country, you're considered an enemy of the state. You've sought freedom, you've come here, you spent some years here. There's no real hope or future for them if they were to be sent back because they're going to be isolated. Sometimes they even jail them upon return.
The Trump administration's new crackdown on illegal immigration targets a Biden administration parole program. It allowed more than 530,000 people to legally come and work in the U.S. for 2 years. Now they have 30 days to leave, unless they are in the middle of a valid immigration case. Venezuelans, Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans are among those included in that deportation order. Many of them live in South Florida.
To me, at least, the 30-day notice is not really enough time for anyone usually, but I think it's a bit of a scare tactic because I do see it. I've seen it for years, but they have to know their rights. They have to be able to see an immigration attorney who can say, look, it may say this, but if you do seek asylum, you will be allowed to stay while the asylum case is pending.
It all adds up to huge stress and few answers for countless families.
Could you describe how your clients are feeling right now?
The atmosphere, the climate is there's a lot of concern, a lot of fear, a lot of people coming in. You could see it in their face. They're not sleeping at night. They're showing the frustration and the fear.
High emotions, deep uncertainty, with South Florida being at the heart of the deportation debate. Guillermo De Domenico reporting for iPulse.
Early this week, $6.3 million worth of cocaine was found in what appeared to be ordinary suitcases. This seizure is just a fraction of a large amount of cocaine discovered in South Florida. Delaney Smith has the full story.
45,000 pounds of cocaine, worth over $517 million, in a series of 14 drug busts across the eastern Pacific. The U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Stone and his team are responsible for offloading a massive haul of seized narcotics in Port Everglades. A total of 35 suspected smugglers are now in U.S. custody and will face federal charges. Captain Jonathan Carter, the ship's commanding officer, praised the crew's dedication, highlighting one operation where they stopped 4 drug boats in just 15 minutes, preventing nearly 11,000 pounds of cocaine from reaching the streets. These seizures, linked to major cartels, deal a serious financial blow to transnational criminal organizations. Officials say these interdictions are crucial in stopping drugs before they reach U.S. borders. I'm Delaney Smith for iPulse TV News.
A recent survey reports that many of American women are giving up on marriage. Why? What is the cause? Reporter Allison Wallace spoke to Dr. Sam Hamburg. He's a clinical psychologist, author, and relationship counselor who recently authored the book, The Newlyweds.
Women in their 30s, let's say, who I often deal with, they look through the apps and they just don't see men who they want to swipe right on. A lot has to do with women being more economically independent now, and not feeling the need for economic reasons to get married. And I think women are very rightly more picky about who they marry.
Could you go on furthermore about that? Could you explain to us why do you think women feel more independent?
Number one, because they have the means to be independent. Number two, even in households where there are 2 incomes, where the woman works, it's still the woman who does the bulk of the housework. Married women with jobs do more hours of housework a week than unmarried women with jobs. It's crazy but true. So they're not necessarily getting a good deal. And if they haven't married quite the right person for them, then they start to wonder why. It's very hard to find somebody who you can have lifelong love with. I mean, my quick definition of it, there's a longer definition in my book, Will Our Love Last? But what that book boils down to is that lasting love is best friendship plus sex. Now, very few of us have more than a couple of best friends, and it's always hard to find one. So a lot of people settle because of the pressure to get married, because they think they need to be married to have kids or attain certain other life goals. So they marry somebody who doesn't quite have the best friendship potential. And so that's that.
Do you currently think there's lack of quality men in our society at the moment?
Well, there is increasingly an educational and income difference between men and women. You have more women attending college, more women graduating from college, and therefore getting better jobs. And women tend to want, everybody, I guess, wants to marry somebody who is at least their equal in terms of educational attainment and career attainment. And a lot of guys are not measuring up these days because fewer men go to college.
Thank you so much for all your wonderful advice, and with all your years of experience, you really provided us some really good insight.
Sure. Okay, my pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Dr. Hamburg will have more to say about marriage itself at the end of our broadcast.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast. Noah Barclay has the latest details.
Hello everybody, my name is Noah Barclay, and if you did not want rain this week, I have bad news for you. It does look like over the end of the weekend and into the next week it is going to start to rain. Currently it's completely clear, nothing really in the area. That little tiny speck over there in the middle of Florida, obviously it's in the middle of nowhere, so it's all good, nowhere near Boca Raton or any populated area. As you'll see on the next slide right here, we do kind of get that precipitation. This starts at Sunday at 2 o'clock, so don't worry about that until then, but if you are planning on commuting till after that, it is going to be a little rough. There are projected to be thunderstorms, not just showers, so it'll definitely be a little rough out there. As we go into the next slide, you'll see on Monday at about 8 o'clock, there will be some more rain. These won't necessarily be thunderstorms, they'll just be showers. More of the thunderstorms are up toward southern Georgia, the Atlanta area, but down here, it's all good in terms of the thunderstorms, but again, there will be some spotty showers. It will be very isolated, so it'll be very on-off whether we get it or not. You'll have to keep yourself updated on that for sure, because it is very spotty. However, once we get into Tuesday night at about 8 o'clock, you will see that there is a little bit more chance for some precipitation, as you'll see on the next slide. The lack of precipitation down here is pretty telling because it is more up north. That is because we do have that high pressure right off the coast of Tampa, which does affect it a little bit, pushes up a little bit north, but nothing really too dramatic. So down here, it will be relatively clear. We do have that chance for some showers, though. There is only a 35% chance of that, however. As you'll see on the 7-day forecast, like I said, clear right now, clear for the next few days, but again, as we get into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, that is when that rain does begin to pick up. And that Wednesday, it will clear back out. So past then, it'll be pretty clear skies. Of course, we'll see where it gets Thursday and Friday after that, but that's not where we're at right now. But again, I am Noah Barclay. Thank you very much. Back to you guys.
Life lesson for all of us. It all came together in Miami this week in honor of Women's History Month. Filmgate celebrated women directors. The film festival focused on independent movies. Lisette Guillen introduces to you someone with a powerful story.
Meet Anna Keary, whose smile is as bright as a sunny day in Miami Beach. Her positive energy helped her make an uplifting movie called Baggage. It spread the message of how our past does not weigh us down. The film features two characters who literally bump into each other at the beach and tell each other how their personal items are meaningful to them. To Keary, this story was emotional as she was a struggling actress in need of help.
So I approached the teacher and I asked him, can you help me? Can you help me on my video reel? Like, this and that, and I told him my stories that I've already worked in Germany, I worked in France, and this things happened to me and that thing happened to me. And he told me, you know what, you carry too much baggage, like you're just too much, like there's nothing I can do for you. And at that moment I got so like, I felt so bad because all I had in me was my passion, and I was screaming, like I was just asking somebody to help me.
Curie had entered 15 other film festivals and did not receive an award. But last night, she won Best Film, voted by the jurors.
My baggage is amazing. And at that moment, this whole movie came to me, and yeah, I mean, it's amazing that I won in a film festival. So you know what? The fact that I won in Miami, like I love it. Like I'm so excited and I want to do more.
Although awards were handed out, it was storytelling that brought everyone together, whether you were an audience member or a director. To end the night, Curie had some words of wisdom to share with young women who want to start working in the film industry.
I wish somebody told me before that you can do anything by yourself, because it only takes a vision, it only takes your big desire to make it happen.
I'm Lasekien, reporting for iPulse.
The Boca Raton Innovation Campus hosted free yoga sessions at its CocoFest Community Wellness Festival. Small businesses had the chance to be there, with health and fitness being the focus for everyone. Reporter Ellie Nickel gives us a look.
You are looking at the mind-body connection in action. Yoga classes and wellness workshops are focused on mental health, physical fitness, nutrition, and much more. That's the recipe for healthier lives at the CocoFest Community Wellness Festival. I got a chance to talk to one of the participants to hear her yoga experience.
Honestly, I am pretty new. I've dabbled in yoga before, but I signed up for ClassPass and I went to a meditation, and Leslie, who ran this, told me about this, and it just completely my vibe. It keeps me centered.
Families, friends, and wellness enthusiasts gather through an event of space where self-love and community care intertwine. Rows of vendors line the space, offering everything from fresh juices and plant-based treats to handmade jewelry and holistic skincare. I ran into the creator of the CocoFest community to hear what the theme was for her event.
Today, the theme is love, and we're celebrating love in all forms. So love for your community, love for yourself first and foremost, romantic love, and just friendship, family.
The mind-body connection, and at this festival, a community connection that keeps growing. I'm Ellie Nickel, reporting for iPulse Live.
The Miami Open is one of the most prestigious tennis tournaments in the world. It attracts some of the best players from around the globe to Hard Rock Stadium. Lillian Carreon gives you a look at an event combining world classic tennis with the Miami dynamic culture.
Let's go! Woo!
The 2025 Miami Open, presented by Tao, is a premier tennis tournament taking place from March 16 to March 30th, 2025 at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. This 40th edition of the event features both ATP and WTA competitions on outdoor hard courts. Top world players attended the tournament, such as the #1 tennis player in the world, Alexander Zverev, who reached the fourth round by defeating Jordan Thompson 7-5, 6-4, and is set to play against Frenchman Arthur Fils next week. The event had diverse opportunities for entertainment, food options, and of course to enjoy top-notch matches performed by pros like Paula Badosa, Taylor Fritz, Joao Fonseca, or Naomi Osaka. The event is backed by several prominent brands, including Bedway, Cadillac, Disney Cruise Line, the Dominican Republic Ministry of Tourism, Emirates, Ologic, Lacoste, Public Investment Fund, and Stella Artois. The event typically attracts around 300,000 to 400,000 attendees each year. The event is one of the most popular tennis tournaments in the U.S. after the 4 Grand Slams, drawing a large crowd due to its high-level tennis, lively atmosphere, and diverse attractions. The venue, Hard Rock Stadium, can accommodate tens of thousands of fans, contributing to this high attendance figure and contributing to making the Miami Open a dynamic and engaging event for all attendees.
All these pro tennis players will be playing on the finals this coming up Saturday and Sunday.
My name is Lilian Carreon, reporting for iPulse News.
In more sports news, Luna Mertis, a member of the Lynn women's swim team, added several historic achievements to her record after a strong performance at the 2025 NCAA Division II Championship Tournament. Earlier this month, Swanson Gibson Jr. recently caught up with her to discuss her success.
Luna Mertens, a native of Freiburg, Germany, and a Lynn University graduate student, has solidified her legacy within the annals of Lynn swimming. At the 2025 NCAA Division II Swimming and Diving Championships, Mertens was crowned national champion in both the 100 fly and 100 free, setting records in both. History repeats itself as Mertens won both events back in 2022. For her performance this past season, Mertens was recognized as the 2025 Sunshine State Conference Swimmer of the Year. She details what has led to her sustained success.
Consistency is like one of the biggest things, like going to practice, putting effort. Even like sometimes you don't have the best day, you know, there are better days and worse days, but it helps to swim with the team, you know, because you know you're not alone. There are a lot of other people, they also do the same thing like you, and you motivate each other. I'm taking my supplements, my protein powder, creatine every day, and then also like taking care of my food, going to the gym, going to practice, just like that you have a timeline of the day, you know, and then just like keep focusing, get enough sleep.
Last year, Mertens was a part of the women's 200 medley relay team that claimed the championship in a record-setting time of 1 minute, 40.14 seconds. She explained how her teammates motivate one another en route to competition.
I think it's a great thing to like swim in a relay because you are not just swimming for yourself, and for me, and I think for a lot of other people, every time you swim in a relay it's like even more heightened, the energy and the feeling, because it's just you all have to swim great, you know, to accomplish something great, but you all did it together, so it's like such a nice feeling to be with the team of like 4 girls, you know, and supporting each other. And then also during the year, like we do a lot of things together. We're helping each other in practice. We're having a GoPro where we can film each other because of the technique work, you know, so we can work on that and help each other. So I think that's very important. And then just like also mentally being there for each other, you know, talking about like things if you have a hard day is also very important.
The 4-time national champ also mentioned how her family inspired her to swim competitively and how their experiences helped her.
My dad was a swimmer when he was younger, and then he switched to water polo, and my mom was also a water polo swimmer, and I'm the youngest of 3 girls, so my sisters were also swimming, so I was always around the swimming pool. I think without my dad I would not be as great of a swimmer as I am. Like, he helped me a lot with technique, also in general with just like supporting, because in the past I was going like an hour away from my hometown to go to swim, so my parents always woke up with me and brought me to the train station so I could go to practice and then school, so it was a lot and they supported me always.
Upon getting her master's in clinical mental health counseling, Luna Mertens plans to dive into optional practical training, granting her the opportunity to work and help others on their wellness journey here in the U.S. Reporting for iPulse News, I'm Swanson Gibson Jr.
It's down to the Sweet 16 in March Madness. In this special edition of Weekend Blitz, Mitchell Kale and Noah Barkley talk about who they think will move on in today's game. Take a listen.
Welcome back to a special segment where we're going to go over all of the March Madness games that take place on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. And
so
there's only 4.
There is only 4. The first matchup we got is BYU at Alabama. So who do you got for that game?
The BYU game last time was really exciting.
Yeah,
But
I
mean,
agree.
I always looked at Alabama, and I think you agree with this, as a football
as
school.
a football school, yeah.
So I mean, but I still think I'm going to go with Alabama.
Yeah, I know they're good, but I love to root for the underdog, so I'm gonna go with BYU on this one.
And then Maryland and Florida.
Okay.
I think Florida is going to win.
As much as I hate Florida being a Hurricanes fan, and rest in peace the Hurricanes, they suck this year.
Yes.
But I'm going to have to go with Florida. They're just so dominant all the way around.
Yeah.
I just don't see any team beating them. I have them winning the entire thing.
You have the best team in the tournament, Duke. They're going to be playing Arizona. I think Duke's just going to.
Duke is a basketball school.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look back, they've had so many Hall of Famers in the NBA and future Hall of Famers.
And they had Daniel Jones.
They've
a lot of great players coming out of that school.
They did have Daniel Jones, but Duke's could just destroy them, blow them out of the water. For my brackets, I have Duke and Florida battling it out in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if that holds true. It's crazy that a 10th seed Arkansas has made it all the way. That just proves all the madness that takes place in March.
Yeah, they beat the 2 seed. They beat St. John's.
Yeah.
So
I know a lot of people.
Around.
I know a lot of people, including you, had them go all the way to the Final Four.
Yeah, I had St. John's in the Final Four. I didn't have them in the national championship, but yeah, they shocked them. They shocked the world with that.
But
I think Arkansas is going to win.
You think Arkansas is going to win?
Yeah.
I think
there's always that one team every year.
I do believe that there's always one team every year, but I think their fairy tale run is going to end. That concludes our special March Madness section of the show. And thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you again next week with our regularly scheduled programming of NFL Weekend Blitz.
Yep.
And now for our iPulse Extra, Dr. Sam Hamburg has more to say about marriages and what keeps them steady. Why is there such a high incidence of divorce in this country? Reporter Allison Wallace has the answer.
The main theme in divorce is some kind of incompatibility. Okay.
Yeah.
I think in terms of 3 dimensions of compatibility: the practical dimension, the wavelength dimension, and the sexual dimension. You can have a workable marriage with 2 out of those 3, but one of them, according to my value system, has to be sex. But when people are incompatible on the wavelength dimension, that is where their partner isn't their best friend, people tend to feel lonely in the relationship. That is, they feel not only cut off from their partner, but they feel cut off from the part of themselves that they feel is their realest and truest self. And they feel cut off from that part of themselves because they inhibit themselves from being that person with their partner. Whereas they can be that person maybe with their best female friends, let's say. So you start to feel lonely in the relationship. If people are not compatible on the practical dimension, things having to do with money, leisure time, gender roles, division of labor, money, then, wherever there's disagreement, there's frustration. And wherever there's frustration, there's aggression. This is true for all higher animal species. So, if you have a rat pressing on a bar to get food pellets and you disconnect the feeder, eventually the rat stops pressing, but first he presses harder and then he presses faster, and then he attacks the bar because he's frustrated. So where you have frustration, you have aggression. And if people marry somebody with whom they don't agree on things like money or leisure time or gender roles, division of labor and power in the relationship, that incompatibility can easily lead to divorce too. But it all boils down to incompatibility one way or another.
How would you say to maybe a potential reasoning to stop the divorce rates from going up and having this happening? Would you say to marry later, let the engagement go on longer, or for women to be more picky with who they select?
I think the main thing is for people to be very, very careful about who they decide to marry. I mean, when you're in the first throes of romantic love, you think everything's great. After a year, you can make a better assessment. And you can ask yourself, if this person were of my own sex, would they be one of my very best friends? Is my sexual relationship with this person as wonderful as it's been with other partners? Do we really agree on things like practical things and also things like politics? You know, you sent me a question about, do political differences make a difference? They certainly do. I believe in speed dating. You know, if you're attracted to somebody in a second, and my claim is your first question should be, are you a Republican or a Democrat? And if the person says the other party, you go on to the next person, because you're going to be so different in your overall outlook on life that you'll just hate each other for it. So anyway, people have to be very, very careful about who they decide to marry. And if at any point before the wedding they have a bad feeling about it, they should just not go through with it.
We thank you for joining us on our iPulse News broadcast.
We are wishing you a great rest of your week and a wonderful weekend.